Big showing for the president yesterday. They put him at 11 o'clock, though, last night. And a lot of people were saying, we love you, Joe. We love you, Joe. But he's no longer the nominee. A lot of questions, though, about it, because the New York Times writes that all the cabinet meetings that the president has been having have been scripted. They said 9 months since the latest cabinet meeting. Axios writes that he's only available for work between the hours of 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. And then the Wall Street Journal says when it came down to the debt ceiling negotiations back in 23, Nancy Pelosi had to take over it. Is this the reason why he's no longer the nominee for your party?
It's funny. Sometimes I feel like conservative media and the Republican Party still think they're running against Joe Biden. Mm-hmm. He had an opportunity last night to demonstrate his achievements, right? The fact that he is responsible, for example, mm-hmm. for the biggest run of job growth in the history of the American presidency. I think in any job, but especially the presidency, you want to be judged by your results. People want to nitpick the show flow of a cabinet meeting mm-hmm. when we have had a country that, when he inherited it, was in a condition where you couldn't even approach the Capitol because of the violent assaults on the Capitol by Trump supporters. Not just getting our country moving on from that, not just getting our country back on its feet from the COVID collapse, but all of the other things that he did, including, by the way, delivering the infrastructure bill that Donald Trump promised and failed to deliver.
I know you got the talking
points. You want to go off
how
many hours he's in which office at what time?
But these weren't conservative outlets. I guess you can say the Wall Street Journal is, but
but you're a conservative outlet. And the first thing you're asking about is what time is it a cabinet meeting instead of his achievement.
I just want to know, when did you guys know that the president was unfit to be on your ticket?
The president is not unfit.
So why is he not the nominee right now?
Because he did something that Donald Trump cannot comprehend, which is to put his ego aside.
I just want to get my question out. Why do you guys wait to the last minute to switcheroo after everyone saw? Can I just finish my question? And I'll let you answer, Mr. Secretary. But you guys waited until after the debate, where everybody in America saw what happened that day. Mm-hmm. And all of these reports are coming out that you guys knew behind the scenes, that cabinet members were frustrated, that he couldn't do the negotiations with Nancy Pelosi, and that she had to take it over.
What negotiations with Nancy Pelosi? When was
the debt ceiling in 2003, when it came down to the debt ceiling negotiations, that she had to take it over because he didn't know the talking points.
He won the debt ceiling negotiations. That's the point. You can go over whether he slips up and says one name when he wants to say another name, or you can look at what he's actually accomplished as president. It turns out he's really good at being president of the United States.
And another Fox host learns the hard way that you never outsmart, outmaneuver, or outwit Pete Buttigieg. Here, this Fox host continues to echo Donald Trump's perpetual despair about the fact that Joe Biden is no longer the Democratic nominee, a phenomenon that is so blatant, Trump has taken to openly fantasizing about Joe Biden swooping back in at the DNC to reclaim his rightful position as the Democratic nominee.
And she was part of the cabal that got him out. You know, they got him out. They said, we'll do it the nice way, or we'll do it the hard way, Joe. We'll use the 25th Amendment, and we'll call you mentally incompetent, and everybody will believe us. And you know what they did is a terrible thing, actually. They forced him out. It was a coup. We had a coup. That was the first coup in the history of our country. And it was very successful. He said, okay, I'll leave. If that's what you want, I'll leave. And now he's seeing what the competition is. I hear he's going to make a comeback at the Democrat convention. He's going to walk into the room, and he's going to say, I want my presidency back. I want another chance to debate Trump. I want another chance.
And, well, I'm here at the DNC, and no sign of that wish casting that Trump's trying oh so hard to manifest into reality. Perhaps Donald Trump's next career in political fan fiction isn't quite in the cards. But this actually betrays a pretty dire weakness for Donald Trump. If he was confident in his run against Kamala Harris, he wouldn't be so openly lamenting the fact that Joe Biden isn't the nominee. He would simply be running against Kamala Harris. But because he doesn't know how to run against her, considering she's the prosecutor taking on a convicted felon, considering she's the abortion rights champion taking on an abortion rights opponent, considering she's young and articulate taking on someone who is old and a moron, well, instead he continues trying to manifest into reality this hope that Joe Biden will somehow jump back into the race. It's actually quite sad. But not just sad, it's a sign of his weakness, and that's where things go south. Because Trump's one virtue, the one thing he has going for him, is his perceived strength. He doesn't do policy or governing, he's not a good speaker, he is extraordinarily unqualified, but at least he's got strongman vibes. Only now, he's inadvertently surrendered them by putting on full display just how afraid he is of Kamala Harris. So not only did he lose his preferred opponent in Joe Biden, but he also lost his greatest perceived strength in this race. But Pete, of course, didn't stop there during this interview.
When you look at inflation, it's up 19.4%. When you look at the southern border, it's 8.1 encounters. When you look at crime, violent crime across 66 major cities, it's up almost 10% at 9.6%. Is that a record that you can run on?
Well, certainly the Biden-Harris record of bringing crime down compared to why crime went up under Donald Trump. And I often wonder, whether viewers of this network are aware that violent crime went up under Donald Trump. I think that deserves more coverage so we can ask ourselves why. And some of that has to do with policy, but some of that has to do with the message we send. When you have Donald Trump, an unrepentant convicted criminal, running against a prosecutor like Kamala Harris, we have an opportunity to send a message about whether we're serious on law and order in this country or whether it's a talking point, whether it's just something people try to use as a political theme for partisan gain. You want to talk about inflation? Inflation went up in every country after COVID, but we brought inflation down in this country. Of course, the most important question, every election is about the future, right? And in the future, economists predict that the Trump plan will increase costs for American families by $3,900. So why would we go back to somebody's going to make it worse?
And here's the thing about Fox operating within the confines of a hermetically sealed media bubble. Even they've drank their own Kool-Aid. In reality, whether it's on the debt, on crime, on jobs, the very talking points they use to attack the Democrats actually reflect worse on them. Republicans love to attack Democrats on crime, but whether it's just about crime or as a euphemism for black people, but in reality, crime is down under Democrats and was up under Donald Trump. So this notion that this is some weakness for Democrats is insane. But it goes to show the contempt that right-wing media has for its own supporters, that far from informing them of the truth, they feel perfectly content misinforming them to such a degree that they can claim the Democrats are actually guilty of the exact thing that Republicans are guilty of. I beg of those consuming right-wing media, have the respect for yourselves that conservative pundits refuse to have for you. In the meantime, as always, good on Pete for going on and delivering the message as effectively as possible. The more people who can debunk these right-wing fallacies and fever dreams, the better. And it'll put on full display how Republicans need to rely on lies because the truth isn't on their side. And the more people who can see it, the better off we and our democracy will be. I've got a really exciting announcement. I've written a book. It's called Shameless. This book explores how Republicans have exploited their historical branding while attacking our democracy, how the media has proven itself a willful participant, and how Democrats can learn from this to rebalance the political scales and save our democracy. It has been a lifelong dream of mine to write my own book, and so I'd like to ask you to pre-order it by clicking the link right here on the screen. And if you buy within this pre-order period, your book is going to come with a signed nameplate. As you know, I've never had a single sponsor on my channel. I don't ask for money or anything like that, but if you're looking for a way to support me, this is hands down the best way to do it. So again, follow the link right here on the screen, and thank you from the bottom of my heart for pre-ordering Shameless. And as always, make sure to subscribe to see more of my content.